Tou Saik Lee. Hello everybody, for World Refugee Day, my name is Tou Saik Lee. I was born on a refugee camp in Thailand. I'm the child of refugees and I grew up here in the United States in St. Paul, and I lived in Frogtown and East Side neighborhoods. I'm going to be doing two pieces today. The first is called ZOS QAV or Frogtown, and that's going to be a hip hop piece in the Hmong language. And then the second piece is called Refugee Mentality, and that will be a spoken word piece in English. So check it out.
Yalla, it's Frogtown. ZOS QAV. For those who grew up here and those that come to visit, it's a place for community, influence from people from all over the world.
Your Lucy talking dog, PEB SIV ZOG. ZOS QAV PAB your name CHAIB PLAB, Lord of St. Paul. Gave a man, Holu Nang, your Juyang to Shaw. Neej mu day ta si ching to lu ZOS NO. Cha yang chi gong your KOM NRov more. Your got talk a chub, base the Lord, your developer to law, your master the ya tan day need to say, Jimo Zakala. Hi, your Lucy talking dog, PEB SIV ZOG. ZOS QAV PAB your name CHAIB PLAB, Lord of St. Paul. Gave a man, Holu Nang, your Juyang to Shaw. Neej mu day ta si ching to lu ZOS NO. Cha yang chi gong your KOM NRov more. Your got talk a chub, base the Lord, your developer to law, your master the ya tan day need to say, Jimo Zakala. ZOS QAV thiên là ba day đầu giờ cái này chỉ bỏ. Thầu thọ lưu tế chờ tờ muốn nên chống tua lò. Who be refugee, mong nhớ là khá miền thêm blo. Thầu ưu thô lên sau tù lo yu hậu lưu ZOS NO. Chỉ một ý kiến nhờ ta sĩ thông đó là một chú ý. Là một share ua là đùa nhớ giờ cái university. Ý cho chỉ một nhờ dấu ua khử yếu chủ thọ cứ tí. Sợ đợt sĩ công bá nhờ thế liên gây share nụ gì. Nhờ thiết sĩ yu mi nhua mi gà tế chỉ dòng gì. Mình thấyว่า chỉ muốn Barbie thế khen trong lý bế. Mình nhỏ tu she so right you thế khen the arcade. Lu hai ZOS QAV ya lu hood, hai te ya lu ghetto. Ý cho ta muốn ya cá ta thủ bế chỉ muốn món nọ. Chỉ muốn nên ba khoa khép bế ya lo một ua lấy lọ. Thầu cụ ya tu lùa ZOS NO chỉ muốn program ba bế. Chỉ muốn kể tờ trả thì tờ cá kể tê ba cho giờ nhẹ. Frogtown, 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 ZOS QAV. Frogtown, 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 ZOS QAV. Hi, your Lucy talking dog, PEB SIV ZOG. ZOS QAV PAB your name CHAIB PLAB, Lord of St. Paul. Gave a man, Holu Nang, your Juyang to Shaw. Neej mu day ta si ching to lu ZOS NO. Cha yang chi gong your KOM NRov more. Your got talk a chub, base the Lord, your developer to law, your master the ya tan day need to say, Jimo Zakala. Hi, your Lucy talking dog, PEB SIV ZOG. ZOS QAV PAB your name CHAIB PLAB, Lord of St. Paul. Gave a man, Holu Nang, your Juyang to Shaw. Neej mu day ta si ching to lu ZOS NO. Cha yang chi gong your KOM NRov more. Your got talk a chub, base the Lord, your developer to law, your master the ya tan day need to say, Jimo Zakala.
What has been your journey as an artist like?
Right, so for me, I actually didn't see myself as an artist until I got in trouble. I was in a juvenile institution. And then I wanted to write lyrics, I wanted to write rhymes and write songs about my life. And that's when I really got into expressing myself as an artist. And then as I got older, I started writing more poetry and spoken word and writing about my cultural identity and really getting connected to who I am and where I came from here, not just in the Twin Cities, but my ancestors in Southeast Asia. And I think that's what really helped influence my journey as an artist. Well, for me, a lot of the challenges is thinking through that, that history of war trauma, right? And having to go through those emotions, having to ask the elders who don't want to, a lot of them don't want to talk about it because it's such a painful time, right? So we're talking about like post-traumatic stress disorder, we're talking about losing relatives, and I think that that pain is difficult to dive into emotionally, and then expressing it for those that, you know, might not understand. But I think the flip side to it is that there are a lot of open-minded people that do want to understand and do open their hearts to try to understand our stories. And there's other refugees here in the Twin Cities who relate to our stories. And there's generations of refugees. So there's the Southeast Asian, Hmong, Vietnamese, Cambodian, but then there's also the Somali refugees, and now the Karen and Karenni refugees. So I think that we all relate to each other in different ways as refugees here in the Twin Cities.
How can government, nonprofits, and community leaders better ensure that refugee-made art is appreciated among the general public?
As far as organizations and government and how they can support refugee artists, a lot of refugees aren't encouraged to do art, right? Aren't encouraged to express themselves creatively because we're on survival mode, and our families and our parents and our grandparents are all on survival mode. And I think that the more opportunities that potential artists or people that have a gift of creative expression can have to create their art, whether it's funding, whether it's programs, whether it's just like very opportunities that can be given to artists from refugee experiences. I think that the more we will be open to creating and expressing that history and those experiences, and also that upbringing, being raised by refugee parents. And so I think that, yeah, the more opportunities and funding, the more refugee artists will bloom and feel that they can be an artist and they can creatively express their stories. Lost in translation, our language is fading. Misplaced in this cage, we engage up the mountains and breathe in the clouds. Hence, breathe from Pendel, travel in spirals and follow the sky flow. Adapt to the pyro, survival, denial, demise. The high road hill tribe will never die. We will never die. We will never die. Like John Tao said, we are the orphans of time, orphans of coffins distorting the times, orphans of coffins distorting these rhymes. We are the orphans of time. We are the orphans of time. You see, as refugees, we were told to keep running. If we stop, we die, and this applies to the rest of our lives. These memories will exist in tattoos, tapestries, in the broken down bodies that feed our families. It's that refugee mentality. Keep running, keep moving. The melodic, symbolic words vibrate through us, internally, verbally crushing our senses, bursting to multiple tears, felt from our own life years. We call this gutia. Divine dimensions of eternal stories, piercing the thorns throughout our times, letting it drip down puddles of endless emotions on a cloth we call bandao. I'll admit that my second tongue has been eclipsing my first since birth, or since first grade, and I've been slowly trying to get my language back. The fate of our culture depends on our future, educating our youth to acknowledge and embrace their roots, support the cause, the struggle, the shining life force. Our cultures are immortal, and we become pioneers with every accomplishment. You see, as refugees, we are told to keep running. If we stop, we die, and this applies to the rest of our lives. These memories will exist in tattoos, tapestries, and the broken down bodies that feed our families. It's that refugee mentality. Keep running, keep moving. Keep running, keep moving. Thank you.